Welcome to Confessions by Banana Ketchup. Hatman. This is one of my many encounters of the paranormal, but here is my story. This is my personal experience of the Hatman. My first and so far the only encounter I have experienced of him was a couple of years ago. I went through a terrible breakup and was living alone in my apartment. My experience happened a couple of weeks before moving back into my parents so I can go back to school. I came home late from work one night and it was about 11. I fell asleep on the couch and next thing I know, I'm woken up by a somewhat loud tapping noises. By this time, it's about 4 a.m. I didn't think much of it due to the fact it was probably my cat doing something in another room. I got up from the couch to move into my bed. I went back to sleep for maybe 30 minutes till I woke up to the same tapping noise. I opened my eyes and looked around the room and I saw this man standing in the doorway just staring at me. I couldn't even move an inch. I was terrified. I thought someone just broke into my apartment. This man was wearing a trench coat and wearing a hat. He was all black. You could not see through him. He got closer to me and came right up to my face and it felt like he was holding me down. As I stared at him, all I saw was pure blackness. No eyes, no nose, just nothing to his face beside it was all black. He spoke to me. He spoke, "I'm watching you and will always watch you." I felt my heart dropped and he disappeared after saying that, and the pressure from him holding me down that I felt from him disappeared. I immediately got up and turned all the lights on in my apartment and looked everywhere to make sure no one was in my apartment. I was unable to sleep in my apartment for the remaining weeks I had. I stayed up every night and got very little sleep till I moved out. Till this day, when I think about this encounter, I can't stop thinking about the words he spoke to me in a deep tone that he spoke in. Thank you, Hail Potatoes. The author. Something very strange happened to me on my drive home. I still can't wrap my head around it. I think I somehow ended up like in another world on my drive home. I don't know. Let me explain. I am new here. I just joined Reddit about a week or so ago for the sole purpose of trying to understand exactly what happened to me on my drive home that night. I don't know if it's because I'm too new and too stupid for the interface, but I'm unable to find anything similar to my story, and I was hoping you guys could link me in to stories similar to mine so I can try to figure out what happened, or maybe just give your opinions. Here goes. I was driving alone on my way home. It was about 10 p.m. and I had just dropped my kids off with their dad for the weekend. He lives about 30 miles away from me. I had my radio on, just singing away. I love nighttime drives, they bring me peace. The road I was on is a road I take every single day of my life, literally. I'm very familiar with this road, I know it like the back of my hand. The road is a back road that leads from the town my kid's father lives in straight to my town. I always choose taking this back road over the interstate because they've been doing road construction and the interstate is restricted down to one lane, with the other lane being oncoming traffic. Anyways, I was driving along, radio blasting, singing to the very top of my lungs, and only about 10 miles from my house when the radio completely went static. When I say static, I mean it actually did the weird static sound and then completely went silent. I looked around and all of a sudden I couldn't recognize where I was. I hadn't made any wrong turns. Keep in mind, this is a road I travel on at least twice daily to get to work, to drop my kids off, etc. I knew for a fact I was where I should be. The landmarks were all the same hills, similar tree lines, but the buildings that were there before all gone, and the road looked, well, old. I slowed down just to take it all in, I guess. There was a wooden structure on the side of the road. It looked maybe like an old cottage house, and I had never seen it before. Strangest thing about the house was that there was an old buggy outside. When I say buggy, I mean like horse and buggy type thing. A little further ahead, I noticed a light. When I got closer, I realized it was a small little fire out in front of another structure. This structure was very similar to the other. It looked super old. I believe it was a house. Next to the fire was a man. He was dressed in old-time clothes. I literally stopped to look at him. I was so shocked. He had on suspenders, a white shirt, very long beard, and he actually noticed me and ran inside. I started to pull away when he came back outside, but this time with a woman. The woman was dressed in one of those dresses that bell out at the bottom. It was like they were from a total different century. He pointed to my vehicle, and his wife, or whoever she was, covered her mouth with both hands, like she was in shock. It's almost like they had never seen a car before, at least not one like mine. I only drive a 2017 Yukon, LOL, nothing special, it's just my mom vehicle. Anyways, the man and woman just stood there, with huge looks of disbelief on their faces. They kind of seemed scared, honestly. I pulled away, kept going, and noticed that nothing was the same as how I remembered it. Literally nothing. There were no street signs anymore. Side roads that were once there were completely gone, only to be replaced with fields. And I knew for a fact I wasn't going the wrong way. It's literally just a straight shot from my kid's father's house to mine once you get on that road. You don't even need to make any turns. Literally impossible to get lost. There were wells on the side of the road that I had never seen before. All structures that looks like 18th or 19th century houses. Sorry, I'm not too familiar with centuries or anything, but these houses looked like they were straight off Little House on the Prairie. Everything did. There were horses tied up, fires going, people dressed in old-time clothing, and nobody had a vehicle. Everyone that saw me pass by looked absolutely petrified. Even the air felt different. Everything was different. I kept driving for about 3 or 4 more minutes, past a few more structures, some that looked like little stores, and then all of a sudden, boom, my radio comes back on. The air feels normal again, and I look around and I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I'm driving on the road I knew I had been on the entire time, just a little further down, and everything looked normal again. Keep in mind, I did not make a single turn, not even one. This road is a straight shot, besides a few curves. The road didn't look old anymore. There were no more old houses or strangely dressed people. It was so confused that I actually pulled my truck over, did a quick U-turn and went back, only to find absolutely nothing out of the ordinary there. Nothing. I knew what I saw. It was not a daydream. I didn't fall asleep, none of that. I literally made eye contact with the one guy in the suspenders before he ran to grab his wife to show her my vehicle or whatever he was pointing out to her. I have lived here my entire life, 25 years. There are no Amish communities here. There are a few about 3 hours north from me, but none here. And I have taken this road 2 times a day for the last 10 years just about. I truly don't understand. Why wasn't it there when I immediately turned back around? I don't know what has happened to me. It's almost like I stumbled across an entirely different time or place. Maybe slipped through some sort of portal? I don't know. I've been searching this app every single day for over a week, trying to understand, but I'm still empty-handed, and I don't know what else to do besides just post my experience and hope maybe someone has some insight. My background is very normal. I have no history of mental illness at all. I'm a very happy person. I smoke weed, but actually hadn't smoked that day at all. It was a long day full of work. I don't drink. I wasn't under the influence of anything at all. I can't explain it away because I vividly remember exactly what I saw. Right down to the look of those people's faces and how old everything seemed. Please, somebody, link me to something similar so I can try to find an explanation for this. It's all I've been able to think about and I can't explain it away. I'm a very rational person and I just love an explanation. Added to add, a few people have asked me to add a better description of the actual old road to the post. The road was no longer concrete like it normally is, but it wasn't gravel either. The best way I could describe it would be to say it was like very well packed down dirt, but you could still tell it was a road, even though it was just dirt, if that makes any sense. Added to add again. Now that I understand what happened to me, all thanks to you amazing people on Reddit, I'm curious. I didn't want to add this originally because I wanted more of an answer to my experience, but could something like this, whether it be time slip, glitch in the matrix or what have you, cause someone physical pain? The reason I'm asking is because after it happened, and still to this day, it's been about 7 or so days since my experience, I feel like I was in a car wreck. I'm actually physically sore. My back hurts so bad. It feels like it's bruised, but it isn't. I'm truly physically sore, like you would be after a hard workout or a car wreck, and have been for 7 days now. It's finally getting a tad bit better, but I find it odd and wondering if it correlates due to the timing. Thank you, LunaBlaize, the author. Thank you for watching, everyone. If you already haven't, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any new episodes. See you again soon, and until then, please, be safe.